I'm talking to myself, talking to myself. Or am I? Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? That's kind of the big question right now. Am I even online? Watch live now. Well, we've got a little notification saying watch live now. But the question is, can you hear me? Well, I'm singing to myself. Ah, there we go. All right, okay. So I think, although I'm slightly out of time, I think you can hear me and see me. I think, possibly. Heather EV7N. I mean, I'd speak to your parents about your second name there if I were you. Sound is good. Right. The reason, family stuff. 1 in 24, hello. Right, the reason I'm saying can you hear me and whatever is that I've gone for the Janet Jackson headset thing tonight. I want to give it a test. I did one of my 5K a day rows. I did on Friday, I think it was. I said I was going to do the test with this microphone. And I had this one and my usual microphone running at the same time. And I didn't realize that the little sound pack, in fact, actually, is there a big thing in the way? Oh, it's not. The sound pack that I use just kind of combined the two of them. So what's the point in that? Oh, yeah, there is a big thing in the way. You can see it's like a big, where they go? There. There's big cables falling down from my camera, which I should really fix in a second. I'll do that now. Yeah, so it mixed both channels of audio, and so therefore my test meant that it didn't work. So hang on, I need to try and work out how to stick this somewhere that it's not going to fall back again. Where did you go? If I put, and I also don't want to turn the camera off by messing around with stuff. There we go. Is that going to jam it somewhere? All right. Oh, there we go. Where is he? He's gone. Mummy, he's gone. He's back. Oh, there you go. Right, so we are, let's just check, quickly see. I think we must be a good kind of like 5 seconds delay again between, but this is what always happens. Right, hang on. Where are we? Right, Sunuka, hello there, sir. So, how to improve watts? It really, I mean, there's been a whole bunch of, there's been a whole bunch of emails or messages and stuff that have come over the past few days for kind of basically people saying, how do I get faster than like a 2-minute paced split? Now, I had a Monday's row, the 5K row. I had a little bit of I'm very well, Mike. Thank you very much for joining. You're one of the most consistent rowers in terms of kind of commenting and stuff recently, by the way. I just want to say it's amazing how, I mean, surely you're fed up with me by now. Let's go. Right, so I've got everything connected. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to this. I've got everything connected, heart rate, because I've done all this before actually getting here, kind of got things sorted out. Yay, there's Mike on the water. Hopefully it's all going to work, unless the camera suddenly shuts down or something, then hopefully it's all going to work. So I'm going to go back to my view for that. So, yeah, loads of people have been asking about how to get faster than 2-minute splits. And there's two things. It is really wet and windy tonight, isn't it, John? This is John Edge, I'm not talking to myself. I have another exam till 14th, so a week off training, right? Technique and power are what it's down to, okay? So technique is really important, right? This is why I talk about it all the time. It's not just to pass the time, although it could be that. But if you are not using your legs, your back, and your arms, then you are missing potential watts that could be going into it. So if you are the kind of person who comes into the front, swings your back before you push your legs, so you come in and you do that, but you do on the water rowing, don't you? So it's unlikely that that's going to be your style, because someone would have told you that you're falling out of a boat. So there was a cyclone in Sri Lanka, was there? Crikey. Who just buzzed me? Oh, YouTube said something. Packers fan doing this is purgatory. So if you're swinging back too soon, but really it comes down to that power. It comes down to, so I'm going to figure you've got okay technique, is it comes down to that push out from the front, making sure that, like, again, I'm going to pop out the top of the screen how much, oh, okay. So this is the best way, I'll move my wee heater out the way. The best way I can explain this, right, is I'm sitting in my seat, okay? I can get out the seat by doing this, all right? I just stood up, okay? Stand. Okay, so I'm putting in a certain amount of power that is making me stand up, getting out the seat. However, if I really power through my legs, I jump, okay? I jump up in the air. It's exactly the same motion. It's just that standing. And that is me powering through the floor. And that's what sends me up in the air in a jump. And that's what the difference in the rowing streak. That's a different channel. That's my OnlyFans channel. Yeah, your technique must be fine if you're in the water. So I think it's going to be what that is, that push from the legs and making sure that you have a braced core to send that power up through your body into the machine. It's one of these things, to be honest, that it's really hard to explain, but when you get that feel and the hanging off the handle, that kind of stuff, and you're able to push, that's how you get the watts into the machine, all right? There's Gavin Rowland. How are you? Yeah, I do hope you're wearing a t-shirt and hat today. I sent Gavin a hat. Yeah, so so that's kind of how you get watts. It's about that push, and it's not really about the swing, and it's not really about the pull, because the thing is that if you get that push with the legs right, and you end up and you're hanging off the handle, braced, like arms straight, and you're braced. The pull at the back is, excuse me. The best way to explain it is like, I don't know the best way to, but the more of a push you put with the legs, the more of a brace you have against the handle, and the more of a kind of like a follow through, a stronger follow through you have because you're bracing against it with more power. So therefore you have a stronger pull into a finish because your legs are pushing harder. If you have like a little bit of a kind of like lackluster, then you don't really finish with it. Well, lackluster is the wrong word. If you're going low intensity, then you don't have that powerful finish. But when you have a proper rah, then you end up slamming right in. So that's what I'd say. Right. So anyway. Erwin Brunner's from Austria. Fantastic. Wow. I think you're the first person who's actually, I have a map on the wall, shouldn't I, for all the people that say where they come from. Because we've got Sri Lanka, we've got Austria, we've got England, obviously, with Gavin. We've got Scotland with John Edge. I don't know where. I think 1A24, you're East Coast America, West Coast America? I can't remember, actually. Did you ever say? I can't remember. Germany. Oh, Germany, sorry. Hey, you're so not America. Texas for Heather. Hey, Texas. I love Texas. I just think there's something about it that it's like it's an entire state that is just a community. It's a fantastic place. I love Texas. My heart still belongs in Boston, must be said. If I had to move anywhere in the States, then I'd pick Boston. I loved being there. And then, yeah, New York. I really like New York. And I proposed to Julie at the top of the Empire State Building. So I really do like New York, but I don't think I could live there. I think it's like kind of like Vegas. I absolutely love Vegas, but I don't think I could live there. I don't know. I just keep on saying that my kind of, we've got 10 minutes, so I can rant for a while. Make sure warm up, stretch, do what you need to do, okay? Get your machines ready. If you haven't, I never say this before the workouts. Set up your machine properly, or the live workouts. I'd say it before like all my normal ones. But set your machine up for how you want it to be today. So I want you to look at your foot plates, right? So put your foot on the foot plate. We've got 10 minutes, so you can do this properly. Put your feet in the straps. Okay, hang on, I'll just check because if I'm in these Pumas, I'm okay. And then, you can just about see. So I've got the strap is covering the bottom, the horizontal lace on my shoe. So it's coming across the widest part of my foot, the balls of my feet. So it means that as I come into the front, how your foot naturally has that kind of hinging point for your kind of the balls of your feet and your toes, that's where you want the strap to be covering in order to be able to get into the front of the machine without it kind of constricting you and holding you back. So take a look and drop your feet. What I'd suggest, to be honest, is drop your feet as low as you can get them in the foot plates before it feels as though it's like coming across your big toe, and then start to raise it up a couple of holes. And that was going to be, because there's so many people I see with a strap coming across like the second or third lace down. It's like right across the big, the arch, the big bony part of your foot. And you're like, how are you supposed to get into the right compression there? Deepest, darkest Essex. Gavin, have I ever told you I was born in Chelmsford? I don't know if I have, but yeah. So I'm an Essex boy. Got the white shoes and everything. It doesn't have the same ring to it as Texas. Well, it kind of does. Sunuka says, indoor rowing is not popular in Sri Lanka, but nice weather for outdoor rowing year-round. And then Tango to Oscar said, ocean or river. And Sunuka has said river. I'm sure you're all looking at the chats. You don't need me to say all that stuff. There's Stephen Gurley. Talk to me, goose. Evening, sir. How are you? Right, okay. Oh, no, I am good to go. That's the whole thing. So I'm sitting and going, there was a beach. Ooh. Yeah, I'm kind of all ready and set up and everything. So anyway, yeah, so foot straps, get them set right, and then set your drag factor to wherever you want it to be, all right? I mean, if you don't know anything about drag factor or you don't know where to set it, I would recommend going for 130, okay? That's what, like, Australian rowing and all this kind of people say they set it to 130. Because that's usually that gives you the combination of muscles and cardio in terms of rowing. But some people want it down at 110. The My Row people that I've started making videos for, they recommend 115 for the drag factor. And then some people like to have it high. The only problem with having a high drag factor is when you come into the front and you're pulling early, you're fighting against the weight of the stroke because it's so heavy. That's when it's too high. If you have to pull against it because it's so high, then it's too high. Lower it to a point that you can push with straight arms without having to pull early, and that's probably going to be the best setting for you. And you can change it. I mean, the other thing is that everyone says, oh, you must leave it at 130. Never change it. Change it if you want. If you're going to do a sprint, then why not whack it up? If you stick it down to the bottom, you get a completely different workout from a technique point of view. If you're an early puller, like I said about those people, if you set your drag factor down at the bottom, then you're going to go nowhere because it suddenly goes and you're like, oh dear. Anyway, there we go. So, said that. Hang on. Florian says my drag factor is 120. Feels great. There we go. See? So Florian's, yeah, in a good point. Johan, I can't remember, do I do a hard J or not? I'm sure it's Johan. It won't be Johan, will it? Says, good evening. If possible, perhaps say a few words about people with lack of mobility, hamstrings, which results in limited forwards tilt. Would be nice to hear it's okay. Of course it's okay. The only thing I'd say is, it's whether, is this like a fundamental problem that you can never fix, or are you working on stretching to try and get it fixed? Best thing from a stretching point of view that I can suggest is what I do is I lie on the ground with one leg through a door frame and then the other leg up on the door frame. Okay, so it means that I can basically just do like that, one leg that way, one leg straight up, and just sit there on my phone for 5 minutes with like a proper stretch of my hamstring, and that really does help because I've got terrible tightness in my hamstring sometimes. So the other thing, of course, is hang on, we're doing time-wise. We've got 5 minutes to go. The other thing, of course, is that a lot of the times people blame the hamstrings, and I'm not saying this is your case, but if I'll do this, somebody got in touch the other day and said, could I not demonstrate bad technique during the row, which I think is probably a good thing, a good point, to be honest, because if you are following me for rhythm and I suddenly start looning around on the machine, then you're like, what? But so if you are rowing with your hips always back, that's quite tough to get into that forwards position, forwards roll. Okay, so if you have like a really slumped posture, everything's rolled. You kind of, so what's happened is you've tugged on the foot straps. Because I made a video about this about why you don't want to like knees coming up. I made a little short video about this. Check out the YouTube shorts. Because if you tug on the foot straps, knees come up, hips roll backwards, and then to try and get from this position into that position is really tough. And actually, you're activating your hamstrings just to do that. And so then what happens is that a lot of people will be in this position rowing. I'm not saying this is you, but when you push from here, it is all about hamstrings. Okay, if you kind of just get in this position, rock backwards and forwards, and touch your hamstrings, and you can feel them tensing and flexing as you're kind of coming backwards and forwards, rather than pushing from the legs at the front. So I'm just reading more things. So that's what I say. But also posture, you want to sit up. So you finish the stroke. So get to the back. Where are we? 3 minutes. Get to the back. Okay. You finish, and you are in a little bit of a kind of a compromised position at this point. And so you have to make sure as the handle comes away that you sit up before you tilt forwards. Okay. It's more like it's a curl that you're doing really, is that you're kind of sitting up and then forwards. But if you get that tilt right here, then hamstrings shouldn't really come into it. It depends what end of the stroke it is that's causing you problems. email me, send me a video, okay? And this goes to everybody. Send me videos of you rowing. I love to give advice on technique. Right, hang on. Where are we? What do I have to say? Oh, that's what I needed to do. So I am going to do a comparison. If this is going to turn on. You going to turn on? Ah, there you go. I'm going to do a comparison between my Smart Row handle and the Concept 2's PM5. There's only 34 people here tonight. That's quite interesting. What are we, 30 minutes? We are, aren't we? Start. Okay. So I did do a, in fact, let's quickly check if anyone else has been in touch. I'll talk about this in a sec, actually, why, because I want to answer your things first. Right, where are we? Beach rowing. I didn't know that. It's only about 15 miles from me. That's not me. Oh, you did. All right, there's Gavin. Yes. There's 18 rowers in John's screen, 3-second delay, but 26 on mine. No, I think sometimes it's down to when you're, as long as you can see, is it still saying Sunset Row with RowAlong across the top on the banner? If so, we're in the right one. If perhaps was a few words, drag factor is 120. I think it's just how Exeter displays it, so fingers crossed. Are you doing gym sessions too? Is that a question to me? Am I doing, hi, first time I'm here, 14-day Exeter trial for, Stephen, hey, you made it, well done. After the messages earlier on today, it's great to see you. Gavin's back, there we go. Tango says, now it's 44 people versus 38 out of John's. I don't know whether it's, I don't know what's happened there, I'm afraid, why you're seeing different numbers. I'm going to risk taking my shell off. Although, is this going to mess with my microphone? Oh, no, it's not. Good. All right. Let's hope this row gets warm quick. So Friday night, I'll talk about this in a sec anyway, properly, but I did another 90-minute row. And it was so cold in here. And part of what I was doing was it was all about how much weight do you lose through sweat. And I was rowing it thinking, am I ever going to start sweating? Because this is completely pointless. But I'll talk about that in a sec. So, usual thing for me, I'm just going to do this low intensity. I might do the sprints. Let's see what, like the short sprints, but I'm not going to do like the 500-meter sprints when they pop up. I will not do the first one though, because they tend to come up too soon. But I will call out when I'm going to do it. Remember, there's a delay between YouTube and the actual Exeter app of about 4 seconds. So look at your Exeter app and start when that says start. Don't wait for this idiot to say start, because otherwise you're going to be 4 seconds late. All right? So here we go then. We have 20 seconds to go until this evening's Sunset Row with RowAlong. Look at me trying to be professional. It's just because I put this up as a podcast and I never actually do a proper intro. So my heart rate is not 180. That's just some kind of Bluetooth interference. So here we go then. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh. Right, let's hope. Am I moving? Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. So, I do wonder, I did take a stroke there before, oh crikey, I forgot about this. Yeah, hang on, I've got loads of things to talk about. It's like, everything's rushing into my head at once, all the things I need to talk about. So there seemed to be like a dead stroke, my very first one on Exeter, so I don't know whether that's gonna mess up the comparison here between the Smart Row handle and the Concept 2's PM5. Because, well, right, okay, I'll start talking in some kind of order. First things first, let's just row for a few minutes, get our bodies opened, hips opened, get used to your motion back and forwards, and then we'll start thinking about technique, okay? But if you can, for the time being, just think about your hip rock into the front of the machine, and then rocking back and making sure to sit up and tilt forwards. That up and forwards is really important. You almost want to over-exaggerate it if you're not used to it, because eventually you'll forget to do it. Right. Whew. So that's what you want to concentrate on. Friday night did a 90-minute row, okay? And because it was only a week after my half marathon, and I've been rowing all week as well, my fingers didn't blister on the half marathon, but they were a bit stingy, for want of a better phrase. And then rowing all week, making the 5K everyday rows, and a couple of extra wee rows here and there, meant that they never really recovered fully. And then Friday night, I rowed for 90 minutes and did get some quite intense blisters on my ring finger and middle finger of my left hand. Didn't row yesterday, and today my hand is reminding me that I've got blisters because this is quite sore. But hey, I can stick it out for you. Okay, let's just, right, 9. I'm going to take it up to 20 strokes a minute. Try and hold 20 through this workout. And then just see if I can be round about 2:03 pace. Yeah, there we go. So, concentrating on technique and rate. I mean, sometimes rambling away is all very nice, but you need some kind of focus. And so we can start to think about what's going on with our bodies. Let's just spend a couple of minutes doing a technique checkup. Oh, I can hear family coming home outside. So, here we go then. Technique starts at the back of the stroke. So as you pull the handle into your chest, that's when everything starts to lead into your next stroke. If you wait until you get to the front of the machine to try and tweak things, it's often too late. So, pull the handle in, let it instantly come away from your body, and as it does, the momentum of it coming away from your body helps you to sit up, and then to tilt forwards over your hips. So reset your posture first by sitting up. Then you're more likely to get into that forwards tilt rather than curling or rolling your lower back. So hands, posture, tilt, and all of that happens before you bend your knees. Oh, I just leveled up. How nice. So you want to get arms straight, forwards tilt, completely in the right position, and then the moment that you fully bend your knees to roll into the front, you shouldn't need to change anything about your arms or your back. Now, Steve on the Facebook page did get in touch to kind of point out that as much as I say don't lower the handle, on the recovery, I do. But I think it's possibly a height at the front to height at the back thing. I'm just watching the video. But it's more about relaxing. As the handle touches my chest, I relax. I let my muscles, ligaments bounce the handle away. And then it's like as I sit up, the handle comes back up. So relax and rise, yeah. I mean, I think if I was on a real boat, I'd be going nowhere. But on a Concept 2, everything between the finish and the catch is about setting up your next stroke and consistency and not wasting energy. The problem with dropping the handle too low is often when people lift it back up to the right height again. What have I gone off stroke rate? Hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I was like, yeah, as people lift the handle back up again, they have a tendency to open their hips too soon. So that's the biggest problem with lowering the handle. Usually on the WaterRowers are all right at that bit though. Anyway, good grief, John. Let's get back into what happens in the rest of the stroke. Handle away, sit up, tilt forwards, and then bend your knees to roll into the front of the machine with arms straight, a forced tilt over your hips. And then the moment you hit vertical shins on that slide, push your feet into the machine. If you know that you are prone to over-compressing, try and take a moment to concentrate on shins vertical. This is one of the reasons why there's the technique cue about not letting your heels rise, because it's really hard to over-compress with your heels off the foot plates. So it's a good drill to do if you're trying to get used to it, is to concentrate on keeping heels down. And I know there's a couple of people on here today that I've been helping with technique that I've said that to, so do try and take a moment to concentrate on that. Gavin? Yeah, so push. And you're pushing the machine away. You're not pushing yourself to the back of the stroke. Think about pushing that machine through the wall in front of you. And that is a really handy kind of trick when it comes to the hang off the handle with straight arms, bracing against the power. That if you think about pushing the machine away rather than pulling on the handle or pushing yourself to the back, then you're more likely to power into the stroke. So like Sunuka, you're looking for some extra watts. So think about pushing the machine away, push, rather than pulling the handle. Whew. And then when you're about halfway through the leg drive, that is when you finally swing your back from that forwards tilt into a backwards tilt. And then as you start that backswing, when you're about halfway through that, that's when you finally pull the handle in and pull it in to sternum height and try and go for a straight line. So if you look at the chain, say, so for me, I'm about an inch underneath the kind of hole where the nut goes. And so I want to make sure that the chain stays pretty close to that for the drive and the recovery. So again, if you know that you have a problem, or not problem, but a technique quirk, where you either finish too high or finish too low, then just keep that chain level and think about the handle hitting sternum height, bra strap height, heart rate monitor height, just below your nipples. That's what you're looking for. Whew. Right, we've got a sprint coming up. Anyway, just quickly, keep your wrists flat as you pull in, and then that's you at the back. Right, I'm not going to sprint, but I'm going to increase the power, okay? One more stroke. So I'm going to hold 20. And just push the machine away with more power. And you can see that I've gone from 203 pace to 154 pace at the same rate. And whoa, almost fell off the seat there. Hang on, let me finish. 2 more strokes. 1 more. Right, ease off a bit to recover. So I was saying before the row started that the 2 ways to address your pace are technique and power. Stroke rate's part of it, but it's just kind of a way to go faster, or faster still, because you could see in that section then that I held the same stroke rate, but because I was pushing the machine away with more force, I was rowing faster. And I think there's a large part of the community that don't quite let that sink in. That it's about pushing your legs. Whew. It's not about stroke rate or even pulling. It's about pushing. Whew. Anyway, that was a bit of a diversion just because we had that sprint. So, my 90-minute row on Friday had a couple of purposes. First and foremost, I wanted to give you the option of a 90-minute stroke rate ladder row without me talking. So that is on the main RowAlong channel right now. Load it up, stick on a podcast or some music or something, and row along. Don't have to do the whole 90, but I recommend at least doing 10-minute chunks. Do the full stroke rate pyramid. Whew. So there was that. I also wanted to use it selfishly to try and sort out my technique, which failed. I'm still butt scooting and shoulder rolling. I also wanted to do a long row to compare the metrics of the smart row handle with the metrics from the Concept 2's monitor. And I mean, I've not uploaded the video yet, but I'll let you in on the answer. I was rowing 90 minutes, 1,750 strokes, and there was only 27 meters difference between the two. So that's what, 1 centimeter? 1 point something, I guess, per, or 1.5 maybe, per stroke difference. Now, if you were properly head to head with someone, those 30 meters would make a difference. But, like I said, it was over 90 minutes worth of rowing. So, over 6 minutes, you're really only looking at about 10 centimeters or something. All right? Or is that a meter? Don't ask me to do maths. So, basically what I'm saying is that if I was on here, on my Concept 2, and somebody was using like the Merak rowing machine, but said, don't worry, I'm using the Smart Row power handle. I'd be like, oh, all right then. They are near as damn it. Because what am I? 5,440 meters high. About, that looked to be about 3 or 4 meters difference, if that. So, anyway, and then the third reason was that I'd made a little bit of a ranty short about how right now there are loads of people saying like row your fat off or cycle away your blubber or whatever, and as though rowing at a fat burning or fat utilization intensity, oh, I'm there, Mike. Like targets your fat, and it's kind of separate to the whole concept of energy, which is rubbish. So I weighed myself before starting the row in my joggies, socks and t-shirt, and I was 80.7 kilograms, and then rowed for 90 minutes, weighed myself again, and I was 79.6 in the same clothes. Like I changed out of them before the row, so they were perfectly dry. So I'd lost just over a kilogram in sweat. But I then poured myself a recovery sports drink that was a litre in size, and guess what? Straight back up to 80.7 again. So, yes, after a good long row, the scales may show that you're lighter, but it's not from burning fat. It's just sweat loss and like water vapor from your breath. So, yes, a very zone 2-ish row will use fat for energy rather than sugars, glycogen, but it's not like it taps into that as a completely separate power source that then magically keeps you lighter. Okay? So that's why I did it. And then this week, I'll be continuing in the morning with my 5K everyday series, which if you didn't know about, that's on the main RowAlong channel, where I just row for like 21, 22 minutes, and then I do tend to talk for a good 4 or 5 minutes afterwards, in case you are trying to hit 5K. So I'll be doing that. I'm also
hoping to properly start filming workouts for my row. We have the location, we have the tech, we've hopefully sorted out how I introduce the row and how I refer to power and energy. They prefer it as RPE, rate of perceived exertion, or as a kind of percentage of your FTP. So it's not about 2K pacing and stuff. That's just taking me a minute or two to get used to. Oh, but doing that, updating workouts on ErgZone and KinoMap, and working on the RowAlong app, which needs a couple of playlists added for the iOS version. And then making a bunch of short videos like the rowing the weight off one. And I need to do a proper review of the MyRow system too. So a full week for me. I mean, when I actually start the day job up again, I don't know how I'm gonna fit all of this stuff in. Probably have to start waking up at like 4 in the morning. No thanks. You never know. Maybe the channel will explode. I'll suddenly make my millions and not need to go back to the day job. I do enjoy my day job, making TV programs, but I would love it if this was my only job, just rowing and talking to you. All right, we're coming into a close. So, I think Exer will continue on, so I need to keep an eye on the distance that I hit as we cross the line. One more stroke. So it just hit 7.33, so I'm gonna, in fact, if I go, open report, will it tell me the total distance, or is it just 0.33? Classic. 7,300, oh, good grief, I'll show you that in a sec. 7,326 meters. On ErgZone, I was on Exer. What's he on about? Exer, sorry, Exer guys. And if I look down, because I've not looked down at SmartRow yet, bump. Oh man, look at that. In fact, to tell you what this is worth, zooming me in on. 1 second, everybody. I'll do this. Hello. You see that? Maybe just 7,329 meters on SmartRow using just the SmartRow power handle, and what was it, 7,326. So 3 meters difference between the SmartRow handle and Exer for the Concept 2's PM5. So, I mean, I think it would be really hard for anyone to, and like what we suppose we're 3 meters closer, so if that was a half-hour race against someone and you got beaten by 3 meters, maybe you'd be okay to be upset, but I also think they're so close that it's, yeah, like I said, near as damn it. And then I will show you, I don't know if again, if you can see this? You can't really, but the two blisters I got from Friday night have burst and completely opened up. Lovely. Anyway, good times. Right, so that's a fun row. make sure, like, if you're hanging around and listening to my chat, just keep on slowly rowing, just so you can cool down a little bit. Yeah, so look at me at all full screen. Interesting how the green screen has made the RowArg go see-through. I think if I put my... No, it won't work, will it? You idiot. It doesn't make it actually see-through. Oh, you idiot. I'm not the smartest, you know. But yeah, you can see like the Xers behind it. Imagine, how could I think that was going to work? You just tell you, exercise brain. People talk about exercise brain as though it's not a real thing, but it blooming well is. On a normal day, I would not think that this was suddenly see-through just because of the green screen. Idiot. Anyway, what we got? Tango to Oscar says, too sad that some of the rowers were not shown. Oh. Anyways, it was a nice one. Thanks, as always, for the nice row. Good. Thank you for the nice row from 1/24th. It's a pleasure. And Stephen Sadler says 57.50 on PM5. All right. So, Stephen, there's a good chance that you have what's called an Exa split set on the Exa app. So, Exa has two different ways to calculate your pace. You can either use just the rower data, which is the raw data coming off the PM5, or Exa split will, I think Andrew Fielden calls it a fat tax, where it looks at your weight and then runs an algorithm for if you were in a real boat, what that would mean. Because remember, the PM5 is based on is it an 80 kilogram male, is how all that's done. Whereas if you are heavier or lighter, the Exa split will actually take into account that. So that might be, like, maybe you're lighter than the 80 kilograms, and that's why you went further. So there is, next time you sign on to Exa, there's a little box that pops up and it'll ask you how you calculate the data. And so that's what to do. Gavin says, awesome row. Thanks, John. It's a pleasure. I hope you were working on your compression, all that stuff. So there we go. Yay, Pam Howard was here. Thank you very much for turning up. And Stephen says, cool. All right. So there we go. That was our row done. Hopefully the microphone was all right. I'm going to be interested to... The other reason I want to use this little headset microphone is that I'm hoping that the breath noises aren't quite as loud, but they might be. I thought I was going to catch Gavin at the end. He definitely kept me going for the 30. First row since my overnight effort on Thursday night. I hope it's so. It's that Thursday, Friday. All right, so good kind of a few days off for it. So hopefully your backside and all that stuff. If for everyone, Stephen's doing a 24 hours row, is it? So in training for that, is that next month? You still need to make sure and post a link for people to donate to your charity. Anyway, yeah. So hopefully your backside isn't too sore after doing that, and hopefully your training's going well for it. Who else have we got? Andy Smith, great road, John. I'm working on my technique. Good to hear. The splits have come down a little. Fantastic. Gavin's been a good student. Snelledre? I think we are rowing on two different versions that we have two different rowers count. Oh, it might be actually. Maybe there was an update to the app, because sometimes that happens. Yeah. Thanks for talking about forward tilt. And general stiffness might play a part too. Yeah, possibly. Age and general stiffness. Yeah. But the general stiffness is something that you can try and work on. So, all right. So February the 6th is when Stephen Goose is doing his 24-hour row. So make sure and post on the RowAlong Facebook group the link to donate, because I want people to donate. Obviously I will, because it's rowing for 24 hours. Even rowing your marathon on Thursday night, that's a huge ask. Listen, I was raising money for charity for doing half marathons, so the fact you're doing 24 hours is bonkers. Next up will be trying to row 1 million. How fast can you row 1 million meters? There was David, what's his second name again? That's awful, because he was a proper friend when I was at Free Spirits. David Plum. He once did a million, and it was in I think it was like a week that they did it in, and he had to get a wheelchair back because his legs were ruined. KD1094, first time live, very cool that you're here. Fantastic. I'm glad that you're here. So these ends of these do tend to usually just kind of meander to a finish. So I'll try and be a bit more on point, because I don't want you, you're all hanging around going, I'm ever going to say goodbye. So I will say goodbye, but it's just people are talking to me. Hi Goose, I was trying not to let you past. Right, so we're done for this week. I said what everything's happening on, so I'm doing all this stuff. I think possibly Saturday I'm doing a community row for my row again, which means I'm not going to get a rest day. And then next Sunday, it's 9 o'clock in the morning for the group row. Is that right? Yeah. So I look forward to seeing you there. So that's going to be the Rise and Row with RowAlong. Don't know what course we'll be on, but we'll be here. I will make sure that I've updated my app to the latest version by then. I recommend that everyone else has a quick check, just in case that's why things were a little bit screwy in terms of numbers. It might also take into account, like, why, remember I was like, oh, there's only 40 odd people there, that maybe if there's 2, and actually all added up, and there probably was closer to the 90 we normally get this time of the night, who knows. Anyway, right, so everybody have an amazing week coming up. Remember, I am posting these 5K everyday rows every day. So if you're just looking for 20 minutes worth of rowing just to kind of get your body moving, then, I mean, they're worth turning up to just for that kind of point of view. I talk technique a tiny little bit, and then the rest of the time I just ramble on. Just, it's really a no pressure row. Thanks, John. Have a cracking week. Same for everyone else as well. It's a great community, isn't it? So come and join them if you want to have a little row with them, with no pressure stuff, and then have a great week, whether you're at work, if you've got time off, maybe you're looking after the kids. Who knows? I hope you have an amazing week coming up. As for today's row, make sure and have something to drink, have something to eat, have a shower, and of course, tell someone or something that you love them, whether it's your dog, your cat, your wife, your son, your daughter, your I don't know, your best mate. Just going to go, hey, big guy, I love you. And they're like, oh, yeah, right, it's important. Let's open up, let's be a bit softer. So until next week then, or the next video, or the next whatever, please, everybody have an amazing time. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy life. Should be privileged that we're stuck to this piece of rock hurtling through space when you really think about it. It's terrifying when you think about that stuff. But yeah, so, quickly, Wally wants to say, have a nice week. See you at the next row. There you go, 1 in 24 gets the last word. So have a nice week, everyone. See you in the next row. Take care, be well, row well. Bye-bye.